bit. I just want some background on you guys. So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you do.
I'm Shannon Watters. I am a comic book writer and editor. I co-wrote Hollow that I did with these amazing folks on this call. And I'm the co-creator and co-writer of the series Lumberjanes and the former editor of the Boombox imprint at Boom Studios.
I'm Branden Boyer-White. I am the other creator and writer of Hollow. It's not only my first graphic novel, but it's my first published book ever. I come from a fiction writing background. Thank you very much. So I previously published short stories.
Yeah, I'm Berenice Nelle. I'm from Germany and I'm currently in university. And so I'm a student. Yeah, I'm an illustrator, just like Branden. Hollow is also my first published book. Super excited about it releasing soon. And so all of this is a very new and very exciting new experience for me. And other than that, I'm just working on my own projects, like my ongoing webcomic, and just doing projects for fun other than university work. So yeah.
That's really cool, you guys. So Shannon, you're kind of the experience here. Everyone else has had experience in different avenues, but comic books, this is a new venture for most of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Definitely for me. Yeah.
So do you feel like that experience played into the creative process a little bit? Shannon, were you like the spearhead of this?
You know what? Obviously, like, writing comics is a skill, but I would say that Berenice was already an exceptional comics artist going into this. And Branden was already an exceptional writer. So it was like literally just like kind of teaching the process to Branden, and it worked great. It worked. There was not a lot of kind of spearheading that was needed. We had a real good time writing that script, and it made Berenice laugh a lot. So it was a real success.
That's really awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your time at Boom Studios and how you got started in comic books and how you found Boom?
I got started in comics. My first job in comics was a copy editor at a manga publisher in 2008. And we all got laid off real quick about 8 months after I started.
2008, what a year for jobs.
So one of my editors at that job ended up at Boom and recommended me for a position at Boom as an assistant editor in 2009. And I started at Boom early 2010 as an assistant editor, and very quickly kind of found a niche in all ages comics, kids comics, and comics for middle grade, YA, teen.
Yeah.
So I ran kind of the Kaboom line for a number of years, which was Boom's kids, very squarely kids line. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of the Cartoon Network licensed books that we did in those days. Then in 2013, I started the Boombox imprint, and that was kind of my baby. It was the originals, and very specifically kind of books for done by kind of like marginalized creators and highlighting marginalized characters and kind of more of an indie aesthetic in general.
Yeah.
That is what I did until I left Boom last September to do more writing work. So
that's awesome. We met at QCon, and so some of these questions might be a little bit of a repeat for you two. but that's okay.
QCon feels like it was 3 years ago.
So
I'm like,
many,
it's
so
very
many
fresh
months
for
ago.
me. Yeah. Like, no worries.
And it's very
Yeah.
interesting to learn to hear about it because I didn't know, so I'm just listening.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what sprung this idea? What inspired the story for you two?
I mean, you want me to take the
Yeah,
start?
Bran.
Okay,
Do it.
well, I happen to be I'm at my mama's house and I like did our laundry for free and I like happened to pull this very cool headless horseman. Well,
I
he's
love it.
yeah, he's got a cup of
Already spotting
coffee.
the merchandise.
Yeah, it's a tarot card. It's like 3 of my favorite things in life.
That's
It's
amazing.
by an artist from Sleepy Hollow.
It is.
actually.
Yeah, we were just there kind of like for a
Wow.
wedding nearby and I bought it at a coffee shop there. Anyway,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it was rad. So I have loved the story, like the original legend, and sort of the figure of the headless horseman for a long time. Definitely I grew up, as a kid watching the Disney, Legend of Sleepy Hollow every
Yeah.
Halloween. And as a teenager, I started collecting headless horseman stuff. So I entered, Shannon and I are partners in real life as well as on the page. And I kind of like came into the relationship bringing this obsession in, and Shannon very sweetly in 2019, fall of 2019, took me on a surprise trip to Sleepy Hollow in
Oh,
October.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And it was, so that's their like high season, everything. The horseman is already everywhere, but he's extra everywhere. And we did all the
Right.
touristy stuff and visited the graveyard and went to the reenactments of the story. And our last night of the trip, we were at dinner. And, I think as creative people, we're both always, I know I definitely am, and knowing Shannon, I know she is always chewing on like stories, like, right, you very naturally think of story ideas. And Shannon, from the time we had was like, man, like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody did like an updated version of the legend where like a modern teen like meets the headless horseman ghost and an adventure ensues kind of thing. And we spent the rest of the dinner just kind of like throwing ideas back and forth and beating it out and going, oh, but what if this?
That's
But
so
what if that?
cool.
Yeah. And the idea was we were so solidly into it by the end of that dinner. Shannon was like,
Yeah.
I want to pitch it. Let's do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it came really directly from us bumming around in the town wanting to write about it. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. What I wanted to ask Berenice is, did they come to you with a style? Did you immediately know like what the art style was when you looked at it, like when you looked at the script? What was your process in adapting their words?
To start at the very beginning, I was approached by one of the editors from Boom Studios first, and Allison, and she asked me if I would be interested in doing a graphic novel at all. Like, not she hadn't pitched me at that point Hollow, but she rather asked in general if I was interested in working for Boom Studios. So said, of course, yes, definitely. And a few months later, she sent me the pitch for Hollow and asked me if I would be interested in doing this specific project, because she thought that we as a team would be a great fit together. From the work I had previously done, I had a webcomic in progress at that point. I hadn't even published anything at all at this point. I just had Instagram account and nothing else. So I was approached based on this Instagram account alone. But she already saw a potential that this story and the art style I was doing at that point could fit very well together. And I read the pitch and I was immediately hooked on the story, on the premise, on the characters especially. I really loved the idea of updating the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And yeah, and from that point on, we just continued or started working together, and I got to read the script. And style-wise, I didn't really was given any direction other than a general feeling of what the graphic novel should look and feel like. And that was already a good point for me to start, and things just got rolling from that point on.
That's
Your
awesome.
style was a really natural fit for the book immediately. It was very much like, we were like, oh yeah, great, super.
I agree. I mean, one of the things in my review that's also going to come out somewhere around the time this comes out is I love the art style. I love how the characters are drawn. It's normally when you look at comic book characters, even indie ones, the girls are drawn stick thin, and you didn't do that. It's like the people look like people, which is refreshing and necessary.
We love that you love that. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that this is a thing that comes across, because I think we all really wanted this to be very like prominent, that each of the characters has its own body shape, or is distinguishes itself from him or herself from the other characters.
Yeah, I think that comes across really, really well. I think I sent you guys the advanced copy of the review, but I love the book. I think it's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to help promote it. It made me very excited. So I will also be buying a physical copy when it comes out.
Thanks.
But I just thought I'd throw that in there.
It's really nice to hear. This is the point, at least for me, because it's my first book, where like the nerves have really set in, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope people like it. So hearing that is so nice. Yeah.
Having something new out, especially if you're publishing in a format for the first time, I can only imagine how nerve-wracking that is.
Yeah.
Fun, nerve-wracking, but nervy. Yeah.
Nervy for sure. Branden, you mentioned being a fiction writer. So I have recently started attempting to adapt screenwriting to a comic book format. So I was wondering what your like big takeaways. Did you notice any major differences between what you're used to writing and like structurally into a comic book format?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned screenplays, because I'm a prose writer. I guess now I'm also a graphic novelist, but my background is prose fiction, which you do so much work, excuse me, you do so much work like painting the scene in the reader's mind through your words, right? It's all about that power of your description, and you're having that very intimate writer-reader relationship with that. And I took a screenwriting class in grad school, and I sucked at it because the entire thing with as you know, if you're working in the format, the entire thing with screenwriting is like, your descriptions of a scene don't matter, right? Because that's going to go to all your collaborators, the set designer, the director, like all that's going to be totally out of your control. And that was a really hard thing at that time for me to grasp. But I think because I learned that lesson so hard and struggled in that class a little bit, when it came time for Shannon to teach me, like, here is how you write a graphic novel script, I was like, I got it. Like the descriptions are not for the reader. They're never going to see my descriptions, because Shannon is obviously, I'm going to say it, a master of the form, and she's a great teacher. And the thing that she said to me, and that I hear her say at, conventions and to aspiring writers, is your descriptions can be lush and vivid and need to capture a feeling, but they're all for your artist. Your artist is the only person who is, and then later on, obviously your colorist and your letterer and all those great people who go into realizing the script and do a full book. They're the only ones who are going to see the descriptions. So it's a one-way conversation between, well, not one way, because it's two-way, because then you get to see the artist. Rather, it's like that intimacy that I was used to, but that happens between writer and reader was suddenly like between writer and artist. And so that to me was the biggest difference, was going, my dialogue is going to be seen, but I can sort of, there's a looseness, and it's really fun to write descriptions for the graphic form, because all you're trying to do is evoke like the sense of what you want a scene to look like and the feeling, the acting of the characters, like all that. You're trying to evoke that for the artist so you can have this sort of, you know, crazy, outlandish, fun, slangy quality in your writing that
Yeah.
if you're writing prose, you need to sort of
Can't do
stick
that,
with
yeah.
the style you've chosen. And
Mhm.
so I found it really freeing and fun. Like I had a blast.
That's
like,
awesome.
sort of like transitioning between styles. Yeah.
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 So speaking of that, because like one person can write a book, one person can write a screenplay,
Mhm.
one person cannot create a comic book.
Yeah. No.
So can all of you guys kind of comment on what the collaborative process was like? Like what was it like sending your art to Berenice and getting it back? And you're seeing
Yeah.
things now that were in your head. Like how was it making edits? All those things.
I mean, do you want to start, Shannon? Or,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
because literally every single thing that we got was like amazing. And we screamed a lot. There was a lot of screaming. Again, like Berenice was very good at kind of like capturing both the look and feel of the town and kind of the vision of the feel of it, feel of the moments, the romance, the scary moments,
the comedy, especially.
comedy.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
important to us. We were like, oh, we really want somebody who's like,
comedy's hard. It's hard in
good
any form.
cartoonist,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
like it is, there's a looseness to you know, to the to Hollow. There's this kind of a sweetness that we wanted and a funny a humor that we wanted to come across. And you know, it always is it's always a trip. I think there are kind of like two ways that you can be a comic book writer, right? Like you can be somebody who feels really I will say, side note though, the great thing about comics is that one person can make a comic book if they want to. You can just pick up a pencil and a piece of paper and you can make a comic book. And that's the majesty of comics as a visual. But I digress. This comic was not made by one person. There's kind of like two ways to be a comic book writer, right? Like you can be somebody who holds really tightly to like something that you see in your head. And I think you have a bad time. I think if you're trying to do that, those people I think wash out pretty quickly. Comics, because being a comic book writer who doesn't draw is an experience and a practice in trust and in allowing the fact that this is not yours to be like not entirely yours to be a like a beautiful feature. This team is not the same, this book is not the same without Berenice and our team of colorists and Jim on letters. Like this book could not be without that. And the world of the book could not be without the team. And like, you know, and so you have to kind of like put your arms around that process. You have to you know, write I'm trying to remember, I feel like this was Brian K. Vaughan maybe said that a comic book script is a love letter to your artist. And that is how I feel. That is how I feel about it.
I love it.
The script is a love letter to your artist. And that is how I feel. If I'm making Barry laugh, it's a good day. That's like, then that's perfect.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm getting so much praise. Thank you so much for.
Well, you did a great job. So.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed the process of working on a book in a team, because I also have to say I am making a graphic novel all by myself.
Yeah.
So that is an entirely different process.
Right.
And it is also one that is very solitary at times. Like on one hand, you have the freedom to make all of the decisions on your own, and you really can make the book in a way that you only see it in your head, can really take the picture out of your head and put it into a book, which is great. But yeah, like I said, it's sometimes quite the solitary process over a long time at that, over years maybe. So for me, having started at that point, making a book on my own, and then going into Hollow and working in a team has been an entirely different experience for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was
Awesome.
what I was thinking when Shannon talked was also how helpful it was that the descriptions in Hollow in the script were so lively. Like I could really feel and see what they were trying to get across to me. And I think that really shows in the book later on, that there was a connection in between us, like me as an artist and them as writers. And yeah, I think that the end product shows how good of a teamwork this book has been. And this was an experience I would never want to miss out on. And that is an entirely different but great experience to work in a team. And as an artist, I really enjoyed just getting to have that team feeling when being an artist sometimes can be very lonely.
Yeah.
It's just in the nature of the thing. Like nobody can draw the picture for you, so you really just have to be the type of person to enjoy this type of work. But getting to do this, what you love, to draw and work in a team and work with such skilled professional people such as these two here was just fantastic for me.
Oh, you guys are all so sweet. I hope there's so many more collaborations. I love this
We do
conversation so much.
too. Yeah.
Oh.
Pre-order the book, everyone reading this interview.
Yeah.
Yes.
Subtle plug from Shannon Watters.
Okay, so Shannon, you've had success in the industry. You've worked for Boom Studios. You have a pretty successful comic book out in Lumberjanes. What was it like embarking on kind of an independent work? Like this is
Yeah.
brand new. You've done this, but you kind of already had a team behind you because you knew people at Boom.
Sure. I was really grateful that this was kind of the follow-up project for Lumberjanes, because you do something for a really long time, and it's really scary
Yeah.
to do something new and different. You know, it was a really kind of new and scary adventure, and I was doing it with like the person that I trust most in the world, and an incredible team of people. You know, the editors, Sophie and Sierra and Allison, are people that I adore, both personally and professionally. And Berenice got it immediately and was extraordinary at every stage. We've talked about this in another interview, but we were really nervous about finding an artist because there's a lot of horses in a headless horseman book. And Berenice was like, oh, actually, I'm great I'm a horse girl who loves horses. I'm the only one. I'm the only artist who loves to draw horses. So we got very lucky, you know, and an incredible team of colorists where we would be like, it's feeling a little this way. And the next day they would turn around, you know. And Jim, I've worked with Jim on a million books. My favorite kind of letterer to have on the other side of a page is Jim Campbell. So it was really nerve-wracking to do anything that is that kind of follows something that you've been doing for a really long time. and I was absolutely humbled by the experience. To do it with Branden, whose writing I have admired for the last 6 years, and then to be able to work with her and see how good she is was really
geez,
special,
babes.
exciting.
Thanks.
Well, it's the truth.
Awesome. I have to ask, because I did really love the book, is there going to be more?
We hope so. Once again,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of conversations on this side about that. So cross your fingers. There is a story that exists for it.
Yay! Oh,
We're
that's
ready.
exciting.
Yeah.
We're ready.
And I'm ready. So
Your
Yeah.
biggest fan over here. So I'm like, I need,
yes.
if this is a one and done, I'm gonna be so mad.
I mean, shout out from the rooftops, man.
Yeah. Tell everybody.
Oh, I
tell
will
everybody.
be.
Tell everybody this Halloween season to go pick it up.
Yeah, but we're
That's the best thing.
we
that-
definitely
Honestly,
also
releasing
wanna
it
do
right
more.
around Halloween is the perfect time. I am also
Yeah.
doing a list for Temple of Geek of the best Halloween comics to pick up this year, and
Oh my gosh.
it's going
Yes.
on there, guys.
Yes. I will also be looking at that list because I do love a Halloween comic. I will be like, yes.
You guys might be one of the only two that isn't like actually like terrifying,
Yeah. This is
because I
so
feel
much
like
kids.
I feel like some people need like just fall vibes, right? They just need Halloween feeling
Correct.
without
Yes.
like
Yeah.
gore.
I have a lot of tender people in my life who love Halloween, but are like, I can't do a scare, I can't do a bloody. And those
Yeah.
people, I feel
Perfect.
like this book, it's for those
Perfect book.
people.
It's
Yeah.
for me. It's for me. As
Yeah.
soon as I
Awesome.
honestly, I have already envisioned my fuzzy fall blanket, me sitting on the couch reading the graphic novel. So
That is all we wanted in the world when we
Oh,
were working on
that's
this.
Branden's
Yeah.
legit.
Oh, so perfect.
I have just been informed our meeting will end in 10 minutes, so I will ask one more
Okay.
question.
Okay, great.
In the world of comic book adaptations from the big two mostly, but there are some others that are sneaking in there. Have you guys even thought about this maybe being a TV show or a movie, or is this the only medium we are trying to work within?
I mean, working in comic books is plenty.
I
Comic should be a comic.
agree with you.
Obviously, if somebody were to adapt it, it would be an honor. It always is. It always
Yeah.
is to see your work beloved and appreciated enough that somebody wants to take a shot at their own interpretation of it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think my answer is like a lot more sort of like selfish, which is like, I, as a giant Halloween fan, I always want more
Yeah.
like spooky, fun, cool Halloween. I'm so excited for the Hocus Pocus sequel. Oh my, like white knuckling it till that drops. Like I always want something like that. And there's that adage where it's like, write the book you want to read. And like
Right.
we did that. And so like by that same token, I'm like, obviously I want it to be a TV show or movie because I want to watch it. I want to like sit under my fuzzy blanket and watch it and like be swept away by it and forget that I wrote it and just like enjoy it for,
Right.
the great Halloweeniness of it. Like I'm like, yeah, I always want more stuff like that in the world. So yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
like, bring it. Yeah, adapt away, Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love it for the story. I would love to see the characters come to life in a different medium. So yeah, of course. But as an artist, I think I'm more partial to comics and to drawing and
For
to
sure.
staying within my medium. So I would just love it for the story, for the book to come to a different medium, and for you two writers, of course, to see the characters you created in a different medium. And I would also love to see it. So yeah. Sure.
I mean, I think it'd be a really good animation because it is aimed at younger audiences anyway. So I think it'd be a really cool like Halloween story for kiddos. But Anyway, I really loved talking to you guys. I will let you know when everything's coming
So
out.
much fun.
Thank you
Cool,
so much
thank
for doing
you.
this.
Glad that we
much.
made it
Yeah.
happen. Branden, please show everyone Olive if she's still on your lap.
She left.
Ugh.
My mom has a very senior miniature pincher who came on my lap for part of the interview, but
That's
then has
so funny.
departed.
Well, we
Yeah.
have a few minutes left, so I want everyone to plug their stuff real quick because I'm totally
Oh,
using
okay.
sound bites from this. So
Okay.
where else can we find your work?
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Shanito. You can also find me at my website, shannonwatters.com.
You can find my Instagram at Boyer-White, all one word, no hyphen, even though my last name is hyphenated. I obviously don't post a lot of writing work there, but definitely news and updates about whatever my newest thing out in the world is appear there. And then also my website is Branden Boyer-White, all one word, no hyphen. And I have links to all my previously published work on the
Awesome.
website. So yeah.
Bernice?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram mostly under the name Niberias. And I, like I mentioned before, I make a webcomic which has its own website and is on Tapas, and also made recently a Twitter account for it. My comic is called Wanderlicht. It's where I'm most active on right now, and I also publish illustrations under Niberia. So yeah, that could be a good way to find more of my work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope we talk again
Thank you so
soon.
much.
You're
Thank
all
you so
amazing.
much. Oh my gosh.
And
Thank
have
you
a
for
great
doing
rest
this.
of your day. Of
And thank
course.
you for loving the
Happy
book.
September, and
Yeah.
thank you.
Love it.
It was great to see
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.